Welcome to Journey Through the Gate, your paranormal portal podcast, as we delve into the many questions and wonders brought on by the supernatural experience. What's on the other side of the gate? Let's find out together.
Oh, Merry Christmas, everybody. How you doing? We're getting close, aren't we? Well, we got drones for Christmas, possible aliens for Christmas. We've got ghost stories for Christmas. We've got crazy theories and conspiracy facts and conspiracy maybes and, all kinds of things. But it seems that, that never changes throughout time. We've done this many times. I mean, the level and the tech and everything changes and the names change, but really it's just the same. It's good versus evil and all the gray in between, right? So even when you look back at our ghosts, our Christmases past, our ghosts of Christmas past, so to speak, you're going to pick up all kinds of shenanigans, chicanery, and liars and cheaters and power mongers and people that would harm others for, whatever reason and treat others unkind. And one of our main characters we're talking about tonight, Mr. Charles Dickens, he was a big advocate for bringing that kind of stuff to light and getting eyes on that so it could get changed. And that's why he's one of my favorite authors. So I guess that's kind of, our own odd little way, that's kind of a little bit of what we, do here sometimes, as far as talking about conspiracies and true crimes and things like that. And in the paranormal and the history too. So welcome in, everybody. Good to see you. Make sure you get over on the Rumble if you can. Again, I will say that we have been demonetized because this girl has a big mouth, apparently. And I'm going to tell you the truth, and so we got demonetized over there. We are over on Rumble as well, and we're also on Rumble, not just for that reason, not for the rants. I mean, you could do whatever dollar, you can be a member over there. I think what I'm going to do, if you're a member, if we can get at least one more over there as far as a member, and I believe on Rumble it is you follow and you subscribe on Rumble. When you subscribe, you're a member, like you would be a member on YouTube. But there you subscribe. It gets confusing. But on Rumble, when you subscribe, it means that you are a monthly member. And if we get somebody else in there too, we've already got one, and we get another one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some books and I'm going to sign them, and we'll do a once a month drawing, probably when Lynn's here at the end of the month. And we'll mail it to you if your name is drawn. So that's pretty cool. So you get something for it. We'll come up with different things like that, but more about that later. Tonight it's important that you get over on the Rumble, because once we're done with this show, I'm going to say goodnight to YouTube, and we're going to cut it off, and I am going to give you a surprise over on Rumble if you want to come and follow us there. We are going to get together. Wait a minute, I'm getting my tea. Ooh, I got to get a hold of my producer and get the tea close. So here's the thing. Just me. All the mistakes are mine. The tech, all that mess is mine. So here's what we're going to do. I've got a special showing over there for the holidays. I was really happy to find it. It's a old classic. It's fantastic. It's one of my favorite holiday movies, but I can't show it to you here. So meet me on Rumble. We're going to cut it off. We'll all go over there, and whoever wants to watch that with me, go get your hot chocolate, your Southern Comfort, your chocolate chip cookies, whatever, and meet me over there. We're going to watch a cool movie together. All right? First of many, I hope. because I think it's really cool to get together and see what everybody thinks about. Um, Hang on, I'm still doing some housekeeping here. Make sure that's down. Pardon me, guys. And thank you so much for 13 past midnight, Steve, hosting us over there. So hi, everybody over there watching. Um, so that's the thing. Just get over there on Rumble if you can, even if it's just to catch the movies and sit in with us in the chat, talk to us about it. I think you're going to enjoy it. But anyway, we'll talk more about that later. Tonight, we're talking about Ghost of Christmas Past, and our past, or the famous in the Christmas Carol, which is what made it famous. Looking back at your past, the way that the ghost took him back to his past, pretty neat. I showed some pictures in there of Christmases past, and what was yours like? Did you celebrate Christmas when you were growing up? Did your family have traditions? Did you have special meals, a casserole, a green bean casserole with crunchy onions? Did you have a turkey? Did you have a goose? Did you have a ham or figgy pudding or any kind of traditions like that? Throw it up in the chat, because I think it's so important to pass those traditions along. Even if it's something, around here, it's my mom's favorite sausage stuffing, the way she made it, and stuffed in a turkey, and it's just, you smell that and right away you're back. Do you have a live tree? Do you have a tree? I try to get one every year that's a live tree, even if it's a small one. One year, a couple times we did it where you still had the roots so you could plant it, but we moved so much. I wish I could have saw it grow, but pine trees grow very slowly, don't they? The evergreens. I would imagine there's probably some that grow a little faster than others. But anyway, what's your traditions, and what is your stuff, that you enjoy doing? What is around here too? They do the luminaries in the road on Christmas Eve. It's very nice. It's beautiful the way, it looks like a lit path with, what they use is milk jugs with the sand candles in them. So you be thinking about that, because I know that there's a delay, and throw up what you want. We'll talk about that, and we'll get to talking about Ghosts of Christmas Past and Present. And let me get my friend Steve Stockton in here. And this is going to be a fun one, I think. And look at him. He's all ready. Best be ready to go? Give me an antler up. Okay, here we go.
Hey, Cisco. Ho, 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 everybody. How you doing tonight?
How's it going? I don't know.
Good.
Adjusted here, but an extra long. That's,
Yeah, you got the long one. I got the short one here.
Balance.
So,
For balance. How you doing? That was a
doing
fun
good.
show last night, wasn't it? Boy, we just,
Yeah, that was.
my goodness, we did. And you know what? I woke up this morning and there was about 5 other people that were saying pretty much the same thing we said.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think we're on the right track there, folks. If you missed it last night,
think so. If you didn't watch it last night, go watch about the drones.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I haven't seen anything today that would change my mind about what we said about not knowing last night, but we were leaning one way or the other. But I have seen many things that validated and extended on that, with people calling it. It just makes sense. Plus, all the things that we don't know behind the scenes and different layers and stuff like that. It's always going to switch and go. But I think it's very important to be informed, because if you're informed, you're not scared, you're prepared, and at least you have a good idea. And there's no sense of getting angry, people getting crazy. That's a part I don't like about it, because that poor man in Florida shot that drone with a 9mm, one shot. He should have got some kind of a badge or an award or something for that. But that was unnecessary fear, because here it was Walmart drone. So people are going to start shooting all the, you can't have it. You can't have it. Just handle it. The people that we pay need to handle it, handle it right. So what's going on in your world?
Yeah, same old, 38 and foggy right now in my part of New England. But that's actually been a little warmer than it has been. We woke up to just a dusting of snow yesterday.
Oh, did you?
And that's going to be like in the 50s, I think, tomorrow, and then back into the 30s, and then the teens is for the low this weekend. Single digits, maybe. Cold.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
I haven't seen any drones here. I did see some weird lights in the sky a few days ago, but seeing reports on the local news that they were seeing them over the interstate, over some of the state routes and stuff. And they dispatched the Massachusetts State Police Air Wing. So who knows?
Yeah. Well, we had a couple. I heard today that was crashing into planes. They got, like one frame in a video. I mean, you couldn't really tell. And it's just, here's the thing. Everything we said yesterday and then sometimes three. If that makes it a short version of what, you can get a lot of information over on X or whatever. But listen, be very careful who you get your information from. Be very careful for people to tell you they know exactly, if it's not a trusted source that you've known for years, that it doesn't say something like that for clickbait, because anytime there's something like this goes on, the clickbait comes out of nowhere, the headlines come out of crazy, and mainstream media too. I mean, listen. So again, before you get all upset, think logically. Go watch what we watched last night. Go into Bear Independent free on YouTube. He's got all kinds of checklists and things that you can do to make your situation better. You can't really give a list of things to do because everybody's individual situation is different, Steve, So he's got that all broke down. I can't add or detract from that. It's just great the way it is. And again, it's free. So in today's, do yourself a, maybe, put that in your stocking and sit there and watch his videos and listen to these experts, tell you everything from how to, maybe stop bleeding in a wound to how to filter water and some other things. And maybe there'll be something in there that gives you some, a little peace, and a little, some people need to be doing something, Steve, to feel better about stuff, instead of sitting around listening to the news, getting all scared, come and watch us. Steve's got so many different videos, wonderful videos, and try to help us figure out where these missing people are going. Right, Steve?
Yep.
Watch something.
Yeah, bring them home for Christmas.
Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, wow. Gosh, don't get me started because I know there's so many over there. I mean, how many here recently? Do you have one that they thought was gone and just turned up out of, and they were okay?
Yeah, I can't remember the particulars right off the top of my head, but they had a guy that had been lost for several days, and they thought, he was done for, and then he turned up, and love a happy ending like that.
Right. And I can imagine too, there's been a lot, I know, just social media. I don't get into it as much as you do, that's for sure. But the ones that go missing that were, Alzheimer's and wandered off and things like that, that makes me so sad. I think there was one here lately, a lady wandered off, fell in a sinkhole.
Yeah. There was one in Pennsylvania where they were trying to find their cat or something, and they think she fell in the sinkhole. I never did hear the outcome of that one, but I saw something on the headlines about it.
Seems to be an awful lot of sinkhole. I mean, honestly, I don't know what it is. Is it the rumbling underneath?
Well, in Pennsylvania, a lot of mining historically and things there, and there's a lot of holes underground there where they've done that and haven't shorted up properly, or over time it's going to push through anyway. So it happens, but it's particular in places like that where there's been mining and things underground.
That's good. Hello, everybody on Rumble. How you doing? Cathedra, I think I made you a mod, Ghost Lore. I wanted to try it out. I think Ted is one too. I'm not sure, but could you guys check and see how you are? I mean, don't put anybody in mute or quiet or anything like that, but I really enjoy having the help and people being able to drop links and things like that. And if you can drop the Rumble link in here to give everybody a fair chance. Oh, you did. Thank you, Ted. I'm just read my mind. Speak is spooky. How good the mods are. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. You can also support us through TeePublic / Cisco. We've got a lot of different designs over there. Sage Against the Machine and the logo for the show, and that helps us out too. So we appreciate you considering it. Thank you very much. And just liking and sharing. I mean, get in there and hit that like and share it if you can. Comment. That always helps us too. And I appreciate each and every one of you. So you want to say hi to everybody, Steve?
Yeah, let's see who we got watching over on the 13 past midnight simulcasting over there tonight. Got Cindy Butler, Rose Moments, Marion L. Bott, all the way from Gray, Tennessee.
Woo.
and Slow Boy Whiteboard. How you guys doing tonight? Glad you joined us.
Hey,
And Slow
Slow.
Boy Whiteboard's got an interesting comment there. The drone story very much feels like a hey, look over here story from the mainstream media. What do they want us not paying attention to? I couldn't agree more there, Slow Boy.
Well, they probably don't want us to pay attention to the fact that they're saying that they're the DOD and the DOJ, and they have no idea what it is. I'm with the Don. You know, he says they know what it is. Tell the people, the public, the truth, and and get it handled. And get it handled. Again, I'll be so glad.
We got over here, Cathedra Cat Gray, Monica Device, and Edna in the house. Chiro Sounds. Hey Jane, how you doing? Safe Rose Moments, Uncommon Belief. Henry Nelson, how you doing, buddy? And say hi to Nicole and holding her, listening, watching from in the bedroom.
Hey baby, how you doing? Hey Nick. Hey Holden, sweetheart. Thank you, Uncommon. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And there it is. I'm telling you, right after this show, we're going to say goodnight to YouTube. And we're going to go over there and watch a nice holiday movie. It's one of my favorites, and I'll take anything with an angel in it. And it's not.
Hey Ted Branson.
Not what's the name of that?
It's a
Wonderful Life. Hello, Building and Loan. How can I not remember the name of that movie?
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's not. It's a Wonderful Life. It is a Wonderful Life, but the movie we're watching is not.
Oh, okay, I got you.
But it does have a Christmas angel.
Got me confused there.
So there you go. I wanted to go back, Steve, and see if we had any traditions put up in here. I was asking because I know we have that delay, and I think it's so important. We have a lot here. Yep, you sure have, sweetheart. Thank you for being over there. And it didn't work. It didn't work for you, Ted, and not for you either. I'll try it again in the morning and see. Try another way, but I picked you both as moderators over there, so we got to get that one going. So boys over here too. Hello, Marion. Welcome. And I think pretty sure I saw Vixen in here. You got Froze over there. Hey Froze, how's it going, hon? Hey G, welcome. Thank you so much for all the bacon. There's Froze. There's Froze with this good day. All right. So tonight, Steve and I got together the other night on his wonderful radio show. You want to talk a little bit about that? Derek's in here too, isn't he? He knows all about that.
Yeah, I'm on the Clyde Lewis Ground Zero Radio Network. I have a show over there every Sunday night. Everything out there. It's 9 to 11 p.m. on Sundays, and then the replay is released to all the podcatchers through the week. But this past Sunday night, Cisco was my guest, and we did a similar show to what we're going to be doing here tonight. We told some Christmas ghost stories, some both personal experiences that we've had, and had a good time. That was one of the best shows we've done over there, I think, Cisco. She's been on with me a few times.
I had a good time. We have a good time over there. I've been on with you and Lynn and all that, and it's just here. It's like here. It's just a conversation, and you set off talking about one thing, but the conversation goes this way. And that's just the way it was supposed to go because somebody was supposed to hear something we said, and I love being able to reach out and put those things out there. We goof around on this channel. We talk a lot about, history. We do other things too, true crime and stuff like that. But the main goal is that if you're having an experience and you're interested in it, or you're trying to validate something that happened to you or a friend of yours, or you're trying to sort out what happens on the other side of the gate, or anything like that, that we're trying to do that too. It's really difficult to do that every single night, twice a week, 3 times a week, and not get people in here that are going to sideswipe the whole thing. And that doesn't mean that I, would block anybody from being here or anything like that. What I don't do is have on somebody, everybody else is having on, and have them come back and tell you the same thing. And the first time I heard them, there were some things in there that could really confuse people that are on the right path to trying to understand the paranormal supernatural. Does that make sense? Not say that people couldn't discern for themselves, but I've seen people believe some wild shit. I mean, let's be honest.
These days, you have to. I mean, the conspiracy theories, a lot of them have become conspiracy fact, and it doesn't get too strange. Something you think is just unheard of and out of the realm of reason turns out to be exactly what happened, if not worse.
I'm telling you what, I have got to get this light turned down a little bit. But all my wires have been crossed about 25, 35 years.
You ought to see mine here in my studio. It's just all over the place. Someday I'm going to do a tear down and put everything back together, but I'm scared nothing will work if I do that.
Well,
There you
you know,
go. I think you
I'm
got
not,
some right there.
is that
It
a little
looks
bit,
like
is that a little better?
spooky, and then I got a tan.
No, all
Oh,
right.
is that
I'll
the
keep
look
the
you're
tan.
going for?
I'll keep the tan. Looks good with the sand hat. All right. So, and my little ghosts. See my little ghosts? Aren't they cute? Little heart ghost. See, that's the whole thing. This shirt tells the whole story. Yes, I'll talk about the deep, dark, and nasty. You know, absolutely, because you need to understand your enemy. But there's a lot of good in this too. And I think this is definitely a night that we can bring that forward. Steve, I've got some slides. I think I got them right this time. I had to go back and change these stupid Google slides. What happens with them is I'll bring them up, and if I don't, what do you call it? Like I'll check it all for errors. You know, when I load it, then you have to download it as a Microsoft PowerPoint thing. Somehow in the loading up and coming into the StreamYard, it just switches all back wherever the hell it wants to be. And then Steve will have it, and it'll be a big old picture right in the middle of the words or something. The words will be half off the paper, and it looked fine when I loaded it. So tonight I kind of, spot checked it, and I think I've got only one bad one in there, but it's easy to tell. So help through, because I hate doing that to Steve. Just he gets none of this ahead. He doesn't get to proofread it. He doesn't get to practice. So he's just, what do you call it? Like
No rehearsal. Just we're pantsers. We fly by the seat of our pants.
By the seat of his red velvet, white fur rim pants. So I think we've got that, and I've got some other stuff. But the main thing about tonight is, and Steve and I were talking when we started the radio show. Now, again, I got to warn you, our personal experiences are going to be a repeat from what we told on the radio show. So if you heard that, you're going to hear the same one
You
again.
heard the radio show, you're going to hear some of the same stuff.
Right, because here's the thing. I only have so many Christmas ghost actual experiences, and I can't just make them up for you just to fill in. This actually happened, and Steve's actually happened to him, and a couple other ones we're going to tell happened to people we know, stories that we like. But the number one ghost story for me has always been around Christmas time is the obvious, A Christmas Carol. And we're going to focus a little bit on that tonight, because when I was on Steve's show, I asked him a question, and I want to ask it of the chat. How many ghosts were in A Christmas Carol? And I'll wait to see if the answers come through.
Gets it right here.
Jeopardy, where the Plinko.
And then I've got a little monologue about the Ghost of Christmas Past from A Christmas Carol that I'll read a little bit of here tonight.
I love that. I love that. Hello, Marie. How you doing? How many ghosts? Oh, right out the gate. Look at here. Look at here. Look at here. You can't fool these guys.
Yeah, got some smart people in here.
Look at this. I'm telling you, they're sharper than tacks out here. Look at there. You just made thumbnails. Thank you, ghosts. Yep. Look. Here come Henry. Look at there. Is that great? I asked this at work the other day, and everybody was just stumped. One said 8, and I'm like, wait a minute, is it? I had to think, and I'm thinking, well, maybe they're counting like the kids that were under the coat, one, and wasn't it Green?
Hey,
something like that. And I'm thinking, well, maybe they're counting all the ghosts he went back to visit, and it can get confusing. Absolutely.
But I think from a literature perspective, as it was written, 4 is the correct answer. Ding, 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 ding.
4, absolutely. Are you Henry? I don't know. Are you Henry? Oh, they're asking over here in the Rumble, I think.
Who's Henry?
I'm still working on getting all this down with having 3 different chats going and trying to keep up with it. So if you see me stumbling around, even more than usual, even that's probably what I'm doing, is trying to sort everything at once. But that's right, 4. And to me, everybody usually forgets the most important one. And why would I say the most important one? To me, the most important one has always been Jacob Marley. Because Jacob Marley, I was tracking him right from the get-go. Even when I was little, I'm thinking, man, I'm trying to learn about ghosts. I'm thinking Charles Dickens must have been connected in, because he had it down in a lot of ways. And his motivation was really that he was a whistleblower. He was a journalist more than an author. And he put things that he saw, things that he lived, things that he experienced as a child um, forth in like the prison system, the orphanages, the workhouses, the boot black factories, the all of the things that were going on in his life that he thought was an injustice, the differential treatment between those that had money and those who had nothing, and the apathy that was going on, and the lackluster. There was no celebration around Christmas anymore. It had kind of petered out. All these traditions that I was asking you guys about in the beginning, they kind of went to the wayside. People thought, oh, that's silly. We're not going to do that anymore. Oh, that's silly. And people forgot how much that really bound a community together, because you might have been rich and poor, but you still had evergreens on your front door. This one might have had a brand new red velvet bow, and this one might have had, an old ribbon that had been passed down through the generations, but you still had something in common. You went about with, saying Happy Christmas and Merry Christmas and things like this again, and greeting people you wouldn't normally, and gathering together when you normally wouldn't do that. And a lot of those things were falling away during the times that Charles Dickens wrote this. Now, anything you want to say on that, Steve?
No, I mean, it was Victorian times, as he wrote in Until Two Cities. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was the haves versus the have-nots, so.
Another great tale. This is, of course, a portrait, an illustration done, but this is pretty much what Charles Dickens looked like at the age he wrote in 1842. This was the year before the publication of A Christmas Carol. And there he is. And we often think that he must have been an old man with graying hair to have been as wise as he would have had to been to write something, a masterpiece, really, as far as I'm concerned, Christmas Carol. Of course, he wrote so many other things, Cricket at the Hearth, and just so many, Tale of Two Cities, so many things. But this one has such an impact.
About 30 years old when he wrote that. That's
right.
Good insight for a 30-year-old, I think.
Oh my gosh, right? So I find that the first amazing thing, because what a hard life, what a survivor, what to have that kind of wisdom at this age. Of course, back then it seemed like you aged a little quicker. But even taking that into consideration, kids having to do work and not go to school just to help a farm or help a factory to help your family, whatever the situation might be. But I think a lot of people, like I said, think that he was older to have that kind of wisdom to write something like this, because it really has stood the test of time. And not only that, but it changed everything, with Christmas after that. People started paying attention, and that is profound to be hit like that, and this was a book. Now, he often wrote in periodicals and wrote in, like Mark Twain wrote in serial. So something would come out one week, and then the next week a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, until the story was done. I think Pickwick Papers were done that way. There's quite a few ghost stories in the Pickwick Papers. And so
it was genius too. The people would be waiting on the docks for the ships to come in with the latest installment of his serialized book.
That's so true. So let's see what we got next here. Can you read that? You want to read this first one?
Charles Dickens was born to a middle-class family, which got into financial difficulties as a result of the spendthrift nature of his father, John. In 1824, John was committed to the Marshalsea, I'm not sure how to say that, a debtor's prison in Southwark, England. Dickens, aged 12, was forced to pawn his collection of books, leave school, and work at a dirty and rat-infested shoe-blacking factory. Boy, that does sound horrible.
Isn't that awful?
The change in circumstances gave him what his biographer, Michael Slater, describes as a deep personal and social outrage, which heavily influenced his writing and outlook. And yeah, it's evident throughout his work that he's seen hard times.
Absolutely. And this was really devastating. And, if you don't know the story, his father, John, was just a spendthrift. He was amazing as far as, he was like a magician. He was almost like a vaudevillian kind of guy. He was very boisterous, a wonderful orator. He could do magic tricks. He would tell stories and make up stories, that kind where like he'd make up pirate stories and have the hat and the sword and, run with the kids and all that kind of thing. Gambling, you know, just living outside of his means, always trying to be somebody he wasn't, and he was always broke, and he got in a lot of debt. And back then, when you got in debtor's prison, they took every member of his family, his mother, which often people opted to do, because if your husband is going and he's the only means you have to put food on the table and pay rent, sometimes the family went to the poorhouse and the workhouses with the person getting put in prison. And everybody in Charles Dickens' family went but him. And at 6 years old, I believe it was, he was taken away and taken to this bootblack factory where he worked long hours, horrible conditions, just to pay off his father's debt. And Charles Dickens really never got done paying off his father's debt right up until the time his father died. He was doing things like forging Charles Dickens's name, but he wasn't doing it on like loans and things like that. He was selling the name, so literally, like in a signature, he would sell it for, I don't know how many pennies he would get for it, but he would also borrow money against his son's name without his son's knowledge. So this went on the whole life. So that was always kind of a chain around Charles Dickens's neck, I guess, just like Jacob Marley. So, when you have that, understand the background of that, you can kind of see why he would be able to write something like A Tale of Two Cities, and with Sidney Carleton, and who was the guy that was in prison, the father, that was the shoemaker that was in prison, and that allowed him to talk about the horrible conditions in the prison, and then people would look at that and it would start to change. And that's power of the pen. So let's take a quick look before we do another. Steve, did you want to say anything on that? I'm going to pull a quick bit.
I was just saying it's evident in the titles of some of these things. I mean, A Christmas Carol, but it's, a dark story with a happy ending. Oliver Twist and David Copperfield, particularly Oliver Twist, if you've ever seen Oliver, the musical or the play, it's about hard times and kids, been taken advantage of, but Great Expectations, Hard Times, Bleak House, on and on. I mean, he like I said, he was writing from personal experience and took a literary license with it, of course, but it's wonderful, wonderful writing. I hope they still study Dickens in school these days.
Oh my gosh, I hope so. I really hope so. I mean, I can remember everybody, screaming and complaining when we had to read A Tale of Two Cities. But once you got into that, it was absolutely amazing. And, in a lot of ways, you can kind of see the influence in later shows with that, because I remember in Last of the Mohicans, I was kind of noticing a little bit about, that whole switcheroo kind of thing. But it's just amazing. But here's a little clip of the beginning of the novel. This is the very first words, and the very first words really set the whole set for the entire, the whole feel, the whole vibe for the book. I mean, you were hooked from the first paragraph. And it was very important for Charles Dickens to express the fact that Marley was dead as a doornail. High five here.
Yes. Quite dead. There's a doornail.
Certificate of death, sir.
Stop! Back away, Braddock. Tuppence is tuppence.
Say, our tidings of comfort and joy. From heaven, Lord, Heavenly Father, of blessed angels. Time. She married gentlemen with nothing
Delinquents.
Little bit of Scrooge. There you go. Now that version, of course, is the animated version with Jim Carrey that played that, and that may be one of your favorites. I don't know. Everybody's got favorites, but what I tried to do is pick a little clip from each of them as far back as they'd let me go, because they have been putting out versions of this story since he wrote it. You know, it's absolutely amazing. The next one, I think it's did you want to say anything about that one? Of course, they didn't start it exactly. Anytime you're doing an adaptation in a movie or whatever, it's not going to be word for word the book, but there is a great audio version of A Christmas Carol. Wonderful. There's like 3 or 4 of them available for free on YouTube that I know of. And if you're interested in hearing that audiobook, or you're baking cookies, or you're decorating a tree or something like that, put that on and let your kids hear it, because the way it was written, or read it to your kids, because the way it was written and the way Dickens had that, every word had a reason. We're going to touch on some of those tonight. Steve, anything on you?
Yeah, I just that was I've seen bits and pieces of that animated version. It's very good. I love all of them, including the Bill Murray Scrooged version, which is more of a comedy, but
Right.
they're all good in some way. You can take something good away from them if you know the story.
Absolutely. And they all put their own little touch on them. Even the cartoons, even was it Scrooge McDuck?
Yeah.
You know, Mickey's Christmas Carol. I know that Henry Winkler did one in the 70s. That was an American Christmas Carol. I mean, there's so many different versions. I know there's been several where it was a woman. I think Lifetime did one. I'm not even sure. But all of these different versions, and they all have the basic, same theme. There's also, I'll put it in the link. I didn't put it in tonight in the description, but I'll try to remember to go back in the morning and put it in. So if you come back tomorrow, it'll probably be there. But I have one that is CBS Mystery Theater from the 70s. That what is his name that runs that? E.G.
Marshall.
And he plays Scrooge, and he does such a great job. So I have that, and it's animated throughout, and you have visuals and things. It's really good, and that's for free on my YouTube channel too. So if you don't want to, if you don't have time to read or listen to the audiobook, pull that one up when the kids are decorating cookies or wrapping presents or something like that, because it's just enough visual to keep you entertained. But they do such a good job on that play. And there's many other versions out there too. So if you're looking for, I always try to throw stuff out that you guys can do for free and add to your holiday. You know what I mean? I've lost my life, but here it is. And so there you go. Some ideas. All right. Did we read this one? We didn't, did we?
No, you want me to read it?
Yes, please, if you don't mind, sir.
Dickens wrote A Christmas Carol during a period when the British were exploring and reevaluating past Christmas traditions, including carols and newer customs such as cards and Christmas trees. He was influenced by the experiences of his own youth and by the Christmas stories of other authors, including Washington Irving and Douglas Jerrold.
How cool is that? So again, reaching out to his favorite authors to pull in Christmas traditions and bring them in. And I can tell you, when he had this book printed, he wasn't making money on this. It cost him so much. He had to kind of pretty much self-publish. He had to pay ahead to get this stuff done. And he wanted an illustrator. And he had 8 illustrations in this book. I try to show them throughout here because there was only 8 original. This is one of them. And this is where I think he's given coal to Cratchit, that famous scene where, just one more lump of coal to stay warm. Can you imagine freezing to death? Can't even, this gloves holes in it. Stuff is just awful. And we complain today if we have to wait too long in the drive-thru, or whatever. It's just crazy how time has made us so, I guess soft and take a lot of things for granted in a lot of ways, But the illustrations cost him so much. He had gold gilding on the cover. He wanted this to be gift ready and something that families would hand down for generations. He wanted it to be a part of Christmas. He thought so much about this in so many different ways that the man even went broke pretty much to get this published. And he had no idea it would take off like it did. It took him a long time to just make back what he put in, because he went so extravagant with the gold leaf and the illustrations and everything else, and the what it cost to publish and the people that he owed. So not even making money on this, but so much joy because he sees it coming back. He sees traditions starting to flourish again in the town, and people starting to be kinder to one another and thinking about charity and orphanages and the poorhouse and the workhouses and things like that. So it paid off for him. He was a happy guy. This is a picture of what he paid for, and you can see the gold foil embossing on this. And the first prints, I can't imagine having one of those, but the gilding on the side, the pages, even the paperweight cost so much, Steve. Can you see this one? Would you like to read that?
Yeah. A Christmas Carol. In prose, being a ghost story of Christmas, commonly known as A Christmas Carol, is a novella by Charles Dickens, first published in London by Chapman and Hall in 1843 and illustrated by John Leech. It recounts the story of Ebenezer Scrooge, an elderly miser who is visited by the ghost of his former business partner, Jacob Marley, and the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and yet to come. In the process, Scrooge is transformed into a kinder, gentler man.
Fantastic. Yep, and it's true. And they did it in one night, Steve. Heard tell.
Yeah, I like that.
This is the one that's messed up. I'll grab this one if you like. Jacob Marley was Scrooge's business partner in life, and the closest thing he had to a friend. Now, keep in mind that you have to use this term loosely, because Dickens would be very mad if I just let that word friend sit there. They were all they had, and they didn't socialize. They just had business and things like that. They were each other's only confidant, I guess. In death, he returns to issue Scrooge a warning, serving as a manifestation of the consequences of greed. He has earned his punishment due to the sins he committed in life, and explains that Scrooge can expect the same unless he changes his ways. Did it. I don't know why it does that, but it's getting better. It's getting better, isn't it, see?
Yeah.
Like to take that one, and then tell me when you want to read yours, because where yours fits in here, I'll pull these back for you, honey.
Okay. Marley's presence kickstarts a series of events that leads to Scrooge's transformation, and it also instills into the story a sense of urgency right from the beginning, as Marley explains the depth of his suffering. He is weighted down by the chain of his sins. The links are forged of cash boxes, padlocks, ledgers, and steel purses, things the greedy businessman valued most highly when he was alive, and which now constitute a fitting sort of eternal comeuppance.
And there's a word you don't get to hear all the time, but we need a little bit more of that comeuppance, don't we?
Yeah.
Don't we, Steve? I think
we like to see somebody get their comeuppance. And
Now,
you asked about first edition.
Yes, please do.
Burnside Rare Books in Portland, Oregon. They have a copy for sale. I've shared it there on the screen. Let's get a guess how much you think. Well, it's on the screen now,
Wow,
but there
look
you
at
go.
that. Look at that. See, I told you. Look at that.
$60,000 for one in pristine condition.
Wow. And see here, you can almost see like the illustrations that were in there. And these are the pictures that brought all of this into the homes of all these people, rich and poor. I mean, the poor were going out and, getting trees from the wild. So that became something that the kids did, with the parents or whoever it may be. I mean, all of these different traditions. It was absolutely amazing. Look at, there's one. That's the Fezziwigs, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
Yep.
so.
That's on his trip back to his Christmas past. Yep. Look at that. Look at all the different colored ink even was so expensive. But
Yeah,
he
but
had
all that to do multicolor printing like that in that day and age.
he wanted to last. And look, we're sitting here looking at pictures of one that's actually in existence. When did this come out again? 18 what?
1843.
Look at that. Look at it. Isn't that something?
Isn't that beautiful?
Yes, it is.
If I had $60,000 just to throw around, I'd get that and put it in a glass case.
Wouldn't that be something? Yeah, I have copies of it, but I certainly don't have one like that. And on the CBS radio mystery play that I have on my channel, along with all of the visuals and everything else, there is a part in there that shows you all the pictures real close up, and it gives you a little background on the illustrator and his grave site and all that kind of stuff too. So if you're really interested in that, there's a lot of information on that show too. All right, is this a place for your info, or do you want to?
Yeah, might as well. This
right,
is an excerpt from a monologue that I delivered on my radio show last night. I won't bore you with the whole thing, but
well, you just go ahead.
talked about how it's titled "The Ghosts of Christmas Past: Memory, Regret, and Redemption." The ghost of Christmas Past, a spectral figure who appears in Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, is more than just a spooky apparition. This enigmatic being serves as a powerful symbol of memory, regret, and the potential for redemption. By leading Ebenezer Scrooge on a journey through his past, the ghost forces him to confront the choices that shaped him, ultimately paving the way for his transformation. This spirit embodies the enduring power of memory. We see Scrooge revisit key moments, his lonely childhood, his joyful apprenticeship with Fezziwig, and the heartbreaking dissolution of his engagement to Belle. These scenes are not mere nostalgia. They are visceral experiences that reawaken dormant emotions within Scrooge. He is forced to remember the joy and love he once felt, feelings long buried under layers of bitterness and avarice. The ghost demonstrates that the past is simply not gone. It lives within us, shaping our present and influencing our future. Moreover, the ghost of Christmas Past evokes the sting of regret. Scrooge witnesses his younger self, full of hope and optimism, and mourns the man he has become. He sees the consequences of his choices, particularly the prioritization of wealth over love, leading to Belle's departure. This confrontation with past mistakes is crucial for Scrooge's transformation, pointing out that regret, though painful, can be a powerful catalyst for change. It allows us to acknowledge our errors and motivates us to seek a better path. And one more stanza here. Ultimately, the Ghost of Christmas Past offers a glimmer of hope for redemption. While the past cannot be changed, confronting it allows for understanding and acceptance. By revisiting his past, Scrooge gains self-awareness, which is crucial. He sees the roots of his miserly behavior and recognizes the potential for a different future. The choice is up to him. This realization sets the stage for his transformation later in the story. The ghost, therefore, serves as a crucial reminder that it's never too late to learn from the past and to strive for redemption. There you go.
I agree wholeheartedly. And that's why this story is timeless, because everybody has that. Everybody looks back on their past, on their journey, and looks back with regret. And I say, look back, find that, and take that regret and go, hold on a minute, what did I learn from that? Let all that earthly tether go. Let some of those links fall off of that chain. Let them go and glean what you can learn from that. And that is your armor, and it builds a warrior, because you've learned. That's where wisdom comes from. the most wisdom comes from bad decisions or bad choices, or something happens to us that we have nothing to do with. And instead of, why this and why that, we all go through that kind of thing. But when you're going to look back, what did I learn from that? Because I'll tell you, most of
That's
the
the important thing. If you didn't learn something, good or bad, it was all in vain. You suffered and put yourself through it for nothing. And bringing it back up just reopens those old wounds and things. But again, put it in proper perspective. Look through it with your older eyes, and that through that lens. See, how would I have done that different? How would I do that now? And that's how you can track your progression and see what you've learned on your path to
I
where you
agree
currently are.
100%. I agree 100%. And it's the same with the drill sergeant or teacher or coach or parent or something like that. So why are you always picking on me? Why are you focusing on me? Why are you giving me the hard, going at me hard? Well, because they see something in you and they're trying to build up. You see what you're made of, push you a little bit more so you can find your push yourself past your own limits. Does that make sense? There's a great scene in a movie called I think it's called Flywheel. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's the name. And the coach has this guy who thinks he can't make it. He can't make it. And he says, I believe more in you than you believe in yourself. I know you can do it. So they move through, and it grows and grows, this whole issue between the two of them, until finally he gets the kid mad enough to start pushing himself. And he actually, not only does he do what he said he couldn't do, which was make it across the football field, he carried another football player on his back. And the whole time the coach is going, you can do it, don't give up, don't give up. And he wouldn't let him look and see where he was. He just kept coaching him through, till the kid went across the line, and he was the most shocked one because he had no idea he was that close. And he had been stopping himself from his greater self because he kept saying, I can't. Remember the little engine that could? It wasn't even a little engine that couldn't, So if I think I can, I think I can, I think I can is a mantra. I can't is a self-curse. Think about it. So Dickens was trying to tell everybody, look back, but learn from it and change, because it's never too late to change or do something better or do it better the next time or something along those lines. So here's another little clip. You ready for another little clip here, Steve? We good?
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
There we go. Now this is from one of my favorite Scrooges, and this goes way back. I think as late as the 50s. I could be wrong on that. I mean, I've lost all these dates, but it's back there. But this one has memories for me.
You are bound in heavy chains.
I wear the chain I forged in life. Is its pattern strange to you? The chain you will bear was full as heavy and as long as this 7 Christmas Eves ago. It must be a ponderous chain by now.
Jacob. Oh, Jacob Marley, have you no comfort for me?
None. And none for myself. In life, my spirit never walked beyond the narrow limits of our money-changing home. And weary journeys lie before me.
You travel fast?
On the wings of the wind.
You must have covered a great quantity of ground in 7 years.
Oh, captive, bound and double-ironed. No space of regret can make amends for the wasted opportunities of one life. Poor ignorant Scrooge. Yet such was I.
But you were always a good man of business, Jacob.
Business? Mankind was my business. Common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance, and benevolence, all these were my business. It is at this time of the year that I suffer most. To see the want I could have stopped, the suffering I could have solaced, the hunger I could have satisfied. Dear me, my time is nearly gone.
If you must go, Jacob, don't let me keep you.
Muted, Cisco.
Getting it together. Hang on, hang on. Okay, I checked Ramble's chat. Thank you so much, Henway. Is that you, Henry? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. He is now a monthly supporter. So thank you so very much. We are on the way to now. I got to order books and get that all pulled up, and we'll see if we can't get you guys an autographed book. It usually takes them about self print. How long does that usually take? 3-4 weeks come in. It'll be around the right amount of time. They'll trust me. I know they'll trust me if it takes an extra week. But thank you so much. Love you, Ann. Love you, love you, love you. And I'm going crazy over here because I keep trying to grab the mouse to do the laptop. I'm working it, babe. All right. So that was one of my favorites. And thank you, guys. That was in the 30s. That's amazing. Did you see how good that ghost looked for 1930s? I'm telling you, Steve, they had it back then. Like our fantastic movie, Abbott and Costello, The Time of Their Lives. I've never seen a better ghost movie.
No, that explains the whole thing better than anything I've ever seen, including paranormal experts and things that they take at it.
That's a fact. So we read this one. We read this one, didn't we? Marley was dead.
I don't know. I'll read it again just in case. Quote, Marley was dead to begin with. In Victorian England, spiritualism and ghost stories were popular, and many believed in life after death. Dickens capitalizes on this cultural fascination to introduce Marley's ghost as a moral lesson, bridging the physical and spiritual worlds to highlight the consequences of selfishness.
Amen. So this is where he started, and why he started was Marley was dead to begin with, and he's capitalizing on that fascination. And gosh, have you ever seen another fascination that's lasted this long? Everybody thinks the paranormal's brand new. It started with the ghost hunters and Zach Baggins and all that. No, honey, no. This goes way back. And it's an amazing thing to me. They were probably telling ghost stories in the caves. Who knows how far things go back. I mean, it's in the Bible. It's in so many older writings and things, the fascination has always been with what happens in the afterlife. And I think it's important that he was also capitalizing on the beliefs at the time, and you better watch out, you better not cry. Somebody's watching, and that helped a lot too. So here we go. There's one of them that was I think that was that ghost in that one, the 30s version. Is that or Alistair Sim? You want to do that one, and then we'll do another clip. Oop, muted.
Okay.
There you are, baby.
It's your turn to catch me.
You were going. You were going.
I went for it.
He was like a horse out the gate. Go ahead, sugar.
The same face, the very same. Marley in his pigtail, usual waistcoat, tights, and boots. By emphasizing Marley's unchanged physical appearance, Dickens blurs the line between the living and the dead, making the ghost presence more eerie and impactful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that, the unchanged physical appearance. He wanted it to be a buildup. He wanted it to be, if you remember how Scrooge came back and, the first sign you see of Marley is on the door knocker and that face superimposed, and he's, he's blowing it off. Oh, you're crazy or whatever. A bit of beef, an underdone potato kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's a buildup, and it's the scariest parts of this, and there are some very scary parts. There's some really is all the facts, the truth. It's just the truth, and the fact that he would be so miserly. I think that's one of the things that got me too as a kid, and trying to decipher, how did somebody get this way? How did Scrooge get this way? What made him so cold? And I love how Dickens takes us back and shows us his crossroads, his choices, his fork in the road, so to speak. So this one, I think we're going to start seeing clips now of, of his interactions with okay, this is just the truth. Let's see. All right, let's just play it and see what happens. It's all Scrooge.
I like that. This
Hey, back off, big man. That may work with the chicks, but not with me.
As I said, there are many different.
that's one of the best comic takes on it, I think.
Right? It absolutely is. And on top of that, it got a lot of people, I think, when they brought it out to really get into it again and have those discussions, well, this isn't exactly like that, but it had all the right elements and it brought that
Yeah.
modern thing, which is like I think with An American Christmas Carol and things like that. When it was Henry Winkler that played, I think, Scrooge in that one. All right, let's do one more. See if I can get back on track. I think this is it. It meets Marley. This is 38. This one.
I got to buy cooks. About 5 and 8 pence. Certainly, sir. That's the one. Very good choice, sir.
Let me up.
4 pence of potatoes, 6 pence of mixed nuts, 6 pence of apples. The special pippin, sir, or the medium cookers? The special pippin, yes, sir. And 8 pence of oranges. Thank you, sir.
Chestnuts, sir, all on, sir. They warm the innards and cheer the heart. What's Christmas without chestnuts, sir?
What indeed? 2 pence, no, 3 pence.
Yes, sir.
Put them in my back pocket.
Yes, I will, sir.
That's it.
Here you are, sir.
Now the other one.
Here we are.
And here's your 3 pence. And a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir.
Get it back.
Oh, Bob, you have got a load.
Haven't I, though? And all for tomorrow. Oh!
Let me help you. Did you get the oranges?
Yes.
And the lemon?
Yes.
And the potatoes?
Yes.
Oh, let me. How did you carry it all?
I really don't know.
Oh, what's this? What's this?
Yes.
Roasted beef.
No. Try again.
Veal.
No. Try. No. Ribs. No.
I know. Sausages.
No. Goose. Now take them all into the kitchen. Save Mother a step.
Let me carry something. Here, kid. You may carry the next.
Yes, yes.
Well, there you go. That's another little taste. And that one was good. God bless us, everyone. 100%. Believe it. That was, I love that one. I love that Bob Cratchit. I love that family. Here's the thing, though. They were so happy. They were so happy. All right. Looks like Facebook. They're having trouble over. If anybody's over on Facebook, they're having trouble on StreamYard with the Facebook. So pop over on YouTube or Rumble, because I don't want you to get cut off. But if you're already gone, it wasn't me. All right. There we go. Facebook. Having trouble. Sorry, guys. All right, so here we go. I believe we're back over to here. So again, the main thing was Marley setting the stage, telling him these chains I've forged in life, these heavy chains. Now, in the original book, it is very important to know that they're saying that it's too late for Marley, that he is destined to wander with these chains and there's nothing he can do about it. I kind of beg to differ, because in the Dickens writing, you get the feeling that Marley's doing something about it right now. And Steve and I talked about that during the radio show. And we've had many cases and many stories that we can confirm that ghosts do come in and help other living people, and it helps them raise their vibration and they can go out higher. So in this case, it would be the equivalent of losing a couple of those chains and maybe dropping a couple of cash boxes, you know, because he's helping Scrooge. It doesn't matter that Scrooge, I don't know. That's a good question, Steve. What do you think about that? Does it matter how many chains, if this is our measuring stick, you know, Marley is going to lose by helping his friend? Would he lose more if it takes and his friend does get better? Because here's the question.
I like to think that it would.
Yeah, but
he's
also
unburdening himself by showing somebody their greed and avarice.
Yeah. But if you look at it, if you bring in the Frank Capra, It's a Wonderful Life, it was not whether or not Clarence the angel was willing to help George. He had to help George to get the wings, didn't he? That's I'm wondering if that's not similar in some ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know. So if I think just the act of a ghost helping a living person trying not to go down the same path they did, which is
and that's all It's a Wonderful Life is. It's a respin, a retelling of A Christmas Carol.
In a lot of ways,
he wishes he hadn't been born, and he gets to go back and see how things would be if he hadn't been. And it's there's a lot of parallels with Dickens' work there.
I think you're right, Steve. I think you're right. That's the first time I thought about it that way, you know, as if, you know, wouldn't it be great if they could have showed Marley at the end, at the very tail end, not to change Dickens or even, you know, I wouldn't think you're listening. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying, wouldn't it have been cool if at the end, like all of Marley's chains fall off because it was such a success, and all the ghosts, you know, had such a success with Scrooge's transformation. That would have been cool to see him just, you know, and lose all those chains and be able to go off into the light. That would have been great. If I wrote it, that's what I would have done. No offense, Charles. You did a great job. I know he can hear me. All right, this one will do another clip. If you want to, or I can do it. Either way.
The chain he drew was clasped about his middle, made of cash boxes, keys, padlocks, ledgers, deeds, and heavy purses wrought in steel. The chain is a powerful symbol of Marley's greed and materialism in life. Each item, cash boxes, keys, and ledgers, represent his obsession with wealth and his failure to prioritize human connection. So what he loved in life is what burdens him down in the afterlife, because it was the wrong thing. The love of money is the root of all evil.
There it is, Steve. There it is. And how many cases,
not money, the love of money.
The love of it. And then, of course, you know, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So, again, this tale is timeless because we see it going on all around us right now, you know. And but the good part about it is if you can see that, you're on the right trail. Because a lot of people are just wandering around it, the head down, and don't see it, you know. And I guess that was Scrooge. So interesting. All right, go right ahead. This one we'll do a clip.
Okay. Dickens paints a vivid and unsettling picture of Marley's burden, evoking pity and fear in both Scrooge and the reader. Marley's chain is inescapable, a permanent consequence of his choices. Similarly, heavy purses wrought in steel implies the weight of his greed literally forged into an eternal punishment.
Yeah, see, that's what I was talking about. In the book, most of the people that interpret it and, you know, Dickens did this because of the, you know, analyzing his writing. They fall on this. And that's why I brought, up earlier. Is there nothing he can do? It seems to me that he's doing something right now, because if he had that kind of light in him, to me, that there's hope in there somewhere. Wouldn't you say so, Steve?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too. All right, let's hit another one. If anybody wants to get hot water in their tea, this might be a good one to do it on. This one is, save that one. That's my favorite one. All right, let's try this one. See where we're at with this one.
Christmas Carol.
Damn you, Merry Christmas.
A story of a man consumed by greed, a mind clouded by ignorance, a soul drowning in bitterness.
What reason have you to be merry? You're poor.
I've always thought of Christmas as a time for good, not a time for profit.
fit.
Nephew, you keep Christmas in your way. Let me keep it in mine.
Ebenezer, I'm here to warn you. You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
This is all humbug.
His journey will help him rediscover the spirit of Christmas, find the rewards of kindness, and bring true meaning into an empty life.
I know this place. I was a boy here. There are only shadows of things that have been. They can't see us or hear us.
Dance for us, Mr. Fezziwig.
One master passion engulfs you. Money.
What of it?
Our promise to marry was an old one. May you be happy in the life you've chosen.
Go after her. Don't be afraid.
I am the ghost of Christmas present.
Tell me, Spirit. Will Tiny Tim live?
I see an empty chair by the fireplace.
Unless the future changes, the child will die.
Tell me, who was that wretched man whom I saw lying dead?
Patrick Stewart, in a role he's performed in theaters across the nation.
Show me no more. Take me home. Why, you delight in torturing me.
And Joel Grey.
These are shadows of things that have been.
That they are what they are.
Shadows of the things that would have been. May be dispelled. They will be.
Hello, my fine fellow. What's today?
Why, it's Christmas Day.
Merry Christmas, Bob. I'm going to raise your salary.
Reawaken the spirit of Christmas with the most spectacular telling of Charles Dickens' magical story, A Christmas Carol.
God bless us, everyone.
Coming this December, only on TNT.
Well, there you go. I don't know how you guys like Patrick Stewart as a Scrooge. What do you think about it? He makes a fantastic one, right? Doesn't he? He had the voice, I guess it comes from doing a lot of theater. And this is such a theater thing. I would love to be a part of a theater, community theater version of this or whatever. I would just be in my glory. I would have just, oh my gosh, it would be wonderful. And I think people feel that when they get a hold of a role like this, whether it's one of the ghosts or the Cratchits or the Fezziwigs or anybody. And I think everybody seems to have an attachment one way or another to this story, even if it's a word or actually 2 words put together. And it wasn't just Merry Christmas and Happy Christmas that was on the lips of people. The grumbly gruffs that were out there became very familiar with the words bah humbug. And all of that had to be put into the dictionary of all of these different things that came out of A Christmas Carol that we still use today. So I bet you guys know a lot of bah humbug people out there, huh? Okay, let's get another one of these. And I think at this point, most of these are just clips of different Scrooges, meeting the Marleys that come in. And I love all the different adaptations of all these Marleys. It's absolutely insane how they were showing such good ghost representation in the early ones, and then in the middle, like your Alistair Sims, which was a musical, and different ones like that, how they portrayed these ghosts. It's quite fascinating just on that, just on the cinematography and the not just the actors, but the director, the screenwriter, and how they wanted to perceive it. One of the ones that gets changed around an awful lot is the Ghost of Christmas Present, with touching the robe. And, sometimes he's sitting on a big stack of food, and there's so much plenty, and, he's so big. In one of them, I think it's the one with George C. Scott, it's played by an actor, and I cannot remember his name, so I'm counting on my UK people to throw it in here, but he played the Equalizer. And I absolutely loved him as a kid. And when I saw him in this, I had George C. Scott and I had him, and it was wonderful. But he plays the Ghost of Christmas Present in that. Let's do a fun one. How about this adaptation?
It's all still a house.
Cisco, you're muted again. You have been for the last few minutes.
Oh, have I? Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, just forget everything I just said. And we'll start here. I'm going to start again because that one was a part 2, and I want you to make sure you get, and I can't see the whole thing here. Wait, these things out. If you were on this side of it, it would make a lot more sense to you. Well, with the squinting and all kind of stuff over here. Let's see, this one's fun.
Humbug. He was the greediest man alive.
It's Ebenezer Scrooge.
Until the night he met someone extraordinary.
Hello.
The Muppet Christmas Carol.
I'll drink to Mr. Scrooge, even though he is odious, stingy, and badly dressed.
Humbug.
Oh, there goes Mr. Humbug. There goes Mr. Grin.
Do you think it's safe for us to be up here?
Every day a prize for being me. The winner would be him.
Yes, Mr. Cratchit.
If you please, Mr. Scrooge, the bookkeeping staff would like to have an extra shovel full of coal for the fire.
How would the bookkeepers like to be suddenly
Unemployed! Heat wave! Oi! This is my island in the sun.
It's Charles Dickens' classic tale, as only the Muppets can tell it.
It's good to be heckling again. It's good to be doing anything again.
Filled with holiday warmth
Hey, like the lamp, not the rat, like the lamp, not the rat.
and Christmas spirit.
Jacob Marley?
Oh, that's scary stuff. Should we be worried about the kids in the audience?
No, it's all right. This is culture.
This is the movie to see, to share, to cherish with someone you love.
Thank you for making me a part of this.
Walt Disney Pictures presents from Jim Henson Productions, The Muppet Christmas Carol.
God bless us, everyone.
Whatever.
So much fun. I absolutely love A Muppet's Christmas Carol. And if you haven't seen Michael Caine as Scrooge, if you haven't seen Kermit the Frog as Bob Cratchit, and Tiny Tim, it's the little frog that used to be on, it's so adorable, so well done. You can even get through the songs because you'll be singing, One More Day Till Christmas. If you've not watched this with your grandkids or your kids or yourself, enjoy it because it's fantastic. You can see it. All of these movies, look them up. You can usually find a free place to watch them. If you're in another country, a lot of times they don't come through, so I give you a link and it might not work, so I don't want to do that. They're everywhere. And I would set, like maybe pick 3 of these, like maybe pick like a Muppet's Christmas Carol, and then maybe a more modern one, and then one of the older ones that really get into the whole feel of it. And kids will never forget the lessons they learned from this. It's so well written, and if you get 2 or 3 of them, you can talk about the differences between them, which gets them talking about it, and you'll see what they pulled from it. And it's just like seeing it again through another's eyes. It's a really great Christmas tradition. I think it's important. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I agree. Well, we've got movies like that we watch, and this year we'll be introducing Holden to him. It's his first Christmas. He's not going to remember it, but he'll be exposed to it nonetheless.
Right. And, you can start lining them up now. That's the best thing about having kids is like, I can't wait till I can show them Legos. I can't wait till I can show them how to throw a ball. I can't wait. Sees this for the first time.
Yeah, he's got toys that he's getting for Christmas that he won't be able to play with for some time to come, but he's got them. I'm stocking them up for him, and Nicole is too.
Yeah,
we love it.
I love it. I just spoil them wrong. You want to read this one, sweetie?
Yeah. I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard. This chain represents, it's
okay.
The chain represents the it's easy for me to say, the cumulative burden of Marley's selfish actions during his lifetime. The metaphor personalizes guilt, suggesting that individuals are architects of their own moral consequences. The repetition of I draws attention to Marley's personal accountability, leaving no room for excuses or blame. Indeed.
Absolutely. All right.
I've made this myself, and it's my burden that I've made myself, and I have to carry it.
Forged in Life. All right, let's see which one we get now. All right. I think this is my favorite. This is my all-time favorite. Always will be. I like them all. This is about 8 minutes. We need to try to do a bottle. Do whatever you need to do. Just do some walking. To me, this one goes back to the old days where they show how miserly and how skinful he was even with himself. You know, like some of the old, the Alistair Sim, you know, the one I took to 38. It really does. For the making of Vicky welcome. Look at his face.
I'm not sure. I won't believe.
Like crazy.
What do you want with me? Much. Who are you?
Ask me who I was.
You're particular for a ghost. Who are you then?
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
Can you sit down?
I can.
We'll do it then.
You don't believe in me.
I don't.
What evidence would you have of my reality beyond that of your own senses?
I don't know.
Why do you doubt your senses?
Because a little thing affects them. A slight disorder of the stomach. It might be a bit of bad beef, a blot of mustard,
fragment of an underdone potato. There's more of gravy than of grave about you, whatever you are. Humbug, I tell you, humbug! Mercy. Dreadful apparition. Why do you trouble me?
Man of the worldly mind, do you believe in me or not?
I do, I must. But why do spirits walk the earth? Why do you come to me?
It is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad among his fellow men and travel far and wide. And if that spirit goes not forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death. It is doomed to wander through the world and witness what it cannot share, but might have shared, and turn to happiness.
The chain. Tell me why.
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard. Is its pattern strange to you? Or would you know the weight and length of the strong coil you bear yourself? It was as full, as heavy, and as long as this 7 Christmas Eves ago, you have labored on it since. It is a ponderous chain.
I see no chain.
Mine were invisible until the day of my death, as yours shall be.
Tell me more. Speak. Comfort to me.
I have none to give. My spirit never walked beyond our counting house. In life, my spirit never roved beyond the narrow limits of our money-changing hole.
No doubt of that. You always were a good man of business.
Business! Mankind was my business. The common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance, and benevolence were all my business. The dealings of my trade were but a drop of water in the comprehensive ocean of my business.
I'm sorry for you, Dick. Is there anything I can do for you?
For me? Nay, it is too late. But I have come for your sake, Ebenezer.
Have you? Well, you always were a good friend.
As part of my penance, I have been sent to warn you.
And so you have?
And to offer you a hope and chance of escaping my fate. You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
3 spirits? Is that the chance and hope you mentioned?
It is.
Well, in that case, I think I'd rather not.
Expect the first tonight, when the bell tolls 1.
Couldn't they all come at the same time, Jacob, and have it over?
Expect the second on the stroke of 2. The third, more mercurial, shall appear in his own good time. Look to me no more. Look, that you may remember what has passed between us.
Note the sound in the background. Does an awful lot.
Humbug. Quiet.
That part is so important that I saved it for this time to tell you when I saw that first. I was just floored. I think that is one of the best Marleys in the films. They're all good, but this one really, the way he acted it out, the pain he was showing that he could not help humanity. He was seeing the people he wanted to help now, but could not because of his chains and because of his lot in life. He was actually, in the book, it describes how he was in almost like a different plane. He could see them, but he could not reach them, much like we hear in our stories today about these ghosts in the same place. The wailing and the screaming you hear in the background is him going back into almost like a purgatory kind of hold state with all these people wailing and everything. It's almost like he would predict hell to be. And those sounds, like the one that Art Bell played, with the sounds of the hole in Russia, they put the mic down and all that kind of stuff, the sounds of it. And I think it's important to remember that, because here's the deal. Like someone said here in the chat, I believe it was you, Ted, that said, a lot of us aren't given a chance. Yeah, you are. You're right here. So if you're having problems, if you feel like you've been forging some chains, cut those links off. Do whatever you need to do to fix that, or let it go. Like we talk about collecting baggage. You don't have to carry it all. Go through it, sort it out, keep what's important, get rid of the rest. Right, Steve?
That's exactly right.
And I think everybody could be a little bit of a better person. Now, Steve, you have, I'm almost got done with these, but I want to make sure you get a chance to tell your story tonight, because I love the story. That's another Marley, The Chains. Wonderful. If you get a chance to take your family, I know money's tight, but if you've got a community theater or a high school or something that's putting on this play, it's also
go see it. It's so much better, different,
live.
right? Not necessarily better, but it's good to see on the stage.
Right. And if
Dickens
you're young people doing it, please go support that, because they're having to act through this. And I'm telling you, you can't watch this, and you can't be a part of putting this play on without having it affect you for life, because it's so true to life and death, really. This one right here, Steve, it's up to you if you want to do it. If not, I'll grab it.
Yeah, I'll do it. Excuse me. The phrase "forged in life" evokes the imagery of a blacksmith, symbolizing the deliberate and methodical nature of Marley's choices. The word "yard" emphasizes the enormity of his burden, reflecting a lifetime of misdeeds. This aligns with Dickens' broader critique of utilitarianism, which prioritized profit over human welfare. Marley's suffering is a direct result of neglecting social responsibility, echoing Dickens' belief that wealth should serve humanity, not enslave it.
Isn't it true? How about that? And again, more illustrations, and they're starting to make action figures of Marley. I think it's so cool that people are still attached to this story. You can see all kinds of different animations and, like I said, action figures, and they're all really neat too. And it's amazing how people have grabbed onto this ghost. It's probably one of the most famous ghosts. I know there's a lot of Headless Horsemen, Sleepy Hollows, and stuff like that out there, and all the different ones. But this guy had a message, and such an important message to anybody who is, ghost hunting or paranormal investigator, or just interested in this. There's so many lessons to learn from Marley, and I'm glad we got to do this tonight. I'll do this one for you, honey. Give you rest. No rest, no peace. Incessant torture of remorse. Words like torture and remorse evoke emotional and psychological agony, making Marley's punishment more relatable and harrowing. The word incessant highlights the eternal nature of Marley's regret, suggesting that his punishment is not just physical, but deeply emotional. It was so important for Dickens to put that forward. Words like torture, remorse evoke. I read that one. The word incessant highlights the eternal nature of Marley's regret, suggesting that his punishment is not just physical, but deeply emotional. You want to do that one? We're almost out of here.
Mankind was my business. The common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance, and benevolence were all my business. Marley contrasts his neglected moral duties with his former obsession with financial business, underscoring the futility of material pursuits. The list of virtues, charity, mercy, forbearance, and benevolence, reflects Dickens' moral vision, highlighting the qualities necessary for fulfilling life. The repeated use of business reframes the word's meaning, shifting it from the material to the moral. This linguistic shift reinforces the novella's central theme that social responsibility is paramount.
There it is. There it is. And there's another one, an even older version back there. People in all the, it seems like in all the decades knew how important this story
It
was.
translates well to film, cartoon, the
Absolutely.
stage, anything.
There you go. This one's you. If you can see it, it might
Yeah.
be too small.
Dickens advocates for social reform in an era of vast inequality. Marley's regret serves as a call to action for readers, encouraging them to prioritize kindness and community over wealth. You have yet a chance and hope of escaping my fate. The word escape commands Scrooge to act, underscoring the urgency of Marley's warning. Contrast. The word hope contrasts with Marley's despair, symbolizing the potential for redemption. And the phrase yet a chance suggests that redemption is possible, but time sensitive, adding tension to Scrooge's journey.
Exactly. And it's, so much of this is so important. Dickens believed in the possibility of personal transformation, as do I, as do many ghost people that are involved in ghosts, the afterlife, and all the metaphysical, paranormal, supernatural, because it doesn't make any sense if there wasn't that chance. It just doesn't make it doesn't make any sense. Marley's warning reflects this belief, presenting Scrooge as a symbol of hope for society weighed down by greed and inequality. We see it now, do we not? How do we not get this right after all this time? They knew it then. We say that all the time, don't we, Steve? Dickens uses Marley's ghost to critique the greed and selfishness of the Victorian elite. By showing the consequences of Marley's actions, Dickens encourages readers to embrace generosity and compassion. Marley embodies the idea that every individual is accountable for their actions. His punishment serves as a stark reminder that neglecting moral duties has long-lasting consequences. I believe that to be true. Through Marley, Dickens reinforces the importance of festive season as a time for reflection, generosity, and connection with others, which is, let's hang on to that, folks. The novella reflects Christian themes of sin, repentance, and redemption, which was popular back then. People were forgetting their way. Marley's ghost acts as a cautionary figure, urging Scrooge and the reader to seek salvation through kindness and charity. And there's one of the illustrations right there, and that was when Marley was meeting Scrooge for the first time from death, and it's quite amazing. And that really gave people a lot to hang on to. You want to get that one? I think it's one of our last.
Marley's ghost is a crucial figure in A Christmas Carol, serving as both a warning and a guide. Dickens uses Marley to critique societal greed and highlight the transformative power of compassion.
Absolutely. And there it is. There's a couple of the other illustrations in there, the cover of the book, and the wonderful Scrooge in the middle. This is the Ghost of Christmas Present, which I absolutely loved, and I can't imagine opening this book and seeing something like this with the colored ink and, just the whole, the gloriousness of it. These kids that, one person would get a book and pass it along or give it as a gift, or, they had reading circles where they would read it, show the pictures and everything. And just so much hope and light back into this time that was becoming very gray and cold, dusty, and just trying to survive and head down and going to work and just all the misery that was going on. And then people started helping each other. And I think it's amazing. Any part of literature that can change people like that. There's been things over time. You've got Grapes of Wrath, and you've got so many different times, movies and books that came out. I don't know that there's that much now, Steve, because again, to have a movie come out now where everybody sees it and everybody gets that feel from it, it's coming more rare, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so.
Don't you think? I'm going to show
much
one
stuff out
more.
there.
I know, and it's hard to get everybody focused on one thing. So to come back once a year and focus on stuff like this, I think it's wonderful. I think it's part of the tradition, and I think it not only gives us something to hang on to and pass down, but it also gives us exactly what I think Charles Dickens was trying to do. Give us something to look forward to, something to keep those traditions going, teach about the family. Grandpa did this, or Grandpa made this for the tree, or for whatever. Grandma did this, the recipes and those kind of things. It not only keeps the traditions and the holiday your own and makes it that much more special, and you're adding your own to it as you go along. It's almost like a little quilt, you know, to keep people putting patches in. You get this great big warm blanket of family love and friends and everything else. It's wonderful. But it also keeps those things going. You think about food banks. You think about the people that have less than you. You think about how lucky you are. And it always seems to be the people that have been poor or had less that try to give the most. And I think that was true of Charles Dickens as well. Steve, you got anything on that?
Yeah, I just you put it. That's the best way it could be stated right there.
Oh, thank you. Let's do one more quick one, because before we, I could go back and we could visit all kinds of different ghosts, but I didn't know if you guys were aware of this. Now, this is a movie that was done in 2017, and it is called The Man Who Invented Christmas. And it is, the whole thing is based on how Charles Dickens, and a lot of it's made up because they're imagining how he came up with the characters and how he came up with what influenced certain parts of the book and what did he want to do with the book and how hard it was for him to produce this book. I think it's a wonderful movie. If you can watch it, I did find it. You can watch it for free on YouTube with ads. And here is the trailer. And it's absolutely amazing. I highly recommend you add this to your holiday viewing. And if the kids see A Christmas Carol and want to know who wrote it, this is a good... this is really well done. Here we go. The Man Who Invented Christmas.
Hello, I'm Christopher Plummer, and I'm so excited to be sharing this new trailer for my upcoming movie, The Man Who Invented Christmas, which is coming to theaters everywhere this Thanksgiving. I hope so much that you'll like it, and if you don't, humbug to you.
God bless us, everyone.
Follow.
Humbug.
So he's had a couple of flops? Well, who hasn't?
You have a new book in mind?
Oh, of course he does.
My lamp's gone out. I've run out of ideas.
Are we in trouble?
No, of course not.
I have told you not to disturb me when I am working.
On Christmas Eve, the spirits pour into the night.
Well, here, Mr. Dickens. Pickpockets, streetwalkers, humbug. Those people don't belong in books.
Charles!
It's about a miser, and on Christmas Eve, he meets some kind of supernatural guides.
Does it have a title?
Humbug, A Miser's Lament.
Christmas ghost story, Christmas song.
Christmas ballad, something like that. Get the name right, and the character will appear. Scratch. Scrounger. Come on, Scrooge.
Shut the window. You think I'm made of money?
Mr. Scrooge. How delightful to meet you, sir.
Sorry, I can't say the same.
You and I are going to do wonderful things together.
How do you make a world come alive? I could almost see and hear them people.
Even if you'd already written it, we couldn't possibly get it printed and distributed in only 6 weeks.
If I can't finish it, I'll never write again.
The characters won't do what I want. I'm the author here.
Allegedly.
A jolly ghost. What's that mean? In the season of hope, we will shut out nothing, and everyone will be welcome. I have to get to the printers by 9 o'clock.
But you still don't have an ending.
Merry, Merry Christmas to one and all. That's enough. Back to work.
God bless us, everyone.
Is that not just fantastic? I'm telling you, this
Yeah,
is a great one.
I'm making a note here. I want to watch that one.
Oh, please do, and let me know how Nick enjoys it too, because it's so neat the way they put it all together. I highly recommend it. As much as I know about Dickens, as much as I've loved Dickens, it absolutely does him justice. Dickens didn't go out too good in the end, but there's a lot of things, and how I mean by that is he met somebody and just like kicked his wife to the curb. It was just, he forgot everything he had learned from writing Scrooge, but he sorted it. I mean, he actually was in a train accident, a horrible train accident, and was extremely brave in helping those that were hurt and things like that. There's a lot of things about Dickens' life that it is not just on the page. There's a lot behind it, and I think this really does emphasize it well. And if nothing else, you will get such a joy from realizing what went into this and how important it was, and the struggles he went through during making of this, because he had to go back, and a lot of the people, if you're an author, if you've written anything or tried to go back and write down an experience that you had, especially if it was a scary one, he went through a lot of those things of working at the boot black factory, and the shame of being poor, and the hunger, and the hard work, and his dad just quite not getting it. You're making the whole family suffer, and the guy's just, all like almost like a circus atmosphere in his head, and he couldn't understand that, and he tried very hard to understand it. You're going to enjoy The Man Who Invented Christmas, and I think it's an apt title, because when that book came out, it sold so much, and so many traded and handed off, and like I said, passed it off for a gift to a whole family, because things on the street started changing. The poor were getting attention, the prisons, all of that, and people that were rich. It was almost seen, after about 2 to 3 years after this book came out, it was almost seen as an extreme travesty if you were rich and you did not do some charity towards the poor. And right for that alone, it deserves your attention this Christmas. Steve, I know we had stories and stuff like that, but I was thinking while I was doing this, we've got more time to do another Christmas ghost story. So why don't we come back next Monday and tell our stories? Yeah, tell our stories and see if anybody else has ghost stories that happen around Christmas, or a favorite Christmas story, about a ghost or something like that. I would love to do that.
Yeah,
and
that works.
We'll wear the hats again, and we've got a little time between now and Christmas, and you guys have a little time between now and whenever that time may be, to start hacking off. We've all got the chains. We all can knock some links off. So go do some. If money is tight, it doesn't. Listen. Go pull in your neighbor's garbage can. Go. Bring them their paper. Knock on the door and say, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Merry Christmas. Y'all doing all right in there?" People are scared to come out and ask for help. People are huddled in their houses if they're alone or whatever. Think about that. Do a couple of things and don't tell anybody. And I bet you'll hear a clink, 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 and that'll be links to the chain hitting the floor. And don't pick up anybody else's chain and help them carry it, honey. That's their chain. They got to carry it. They've got to learn their ways, and they got to change their ways. But you can tell them, like Marley told Scrooge, you have time to make a difference. And I think that this story, the way to go out on this is, I think this absolutely emphasizes the theme of this channel. When we get together, we talk about ghosts, we talk about, the other side, and those messages that ghosts give us all the time, that love is eternal, that we are accountable for the things that we do, that we are connected, that great ocean we always talk about, Steve, where we're all part of this energy, this ocean of energy, and no drop is more important than the next. Our job is to take care of all the other drops too. And I know that sounds like a big burden, because you're thinking, I can't even take care of myself, but you can care, you can have empathy, and you can have kindness, and that doesn't cost anything, especially this holiday season. Try to add some traditions and maybe pass this story on to a child. And let's give them a foundation of the love of the holiday and your tribe and the people around you, and trying to smile more if we can, even through the fog and through the drones and through the BS and everything else, because now we're awake, the spells are broken, and I love you all. And Steve, this has been lovely.
Yeah, this is a good time.
Wasn't it a good time? And you've got a couple of movies to watch now with Nick, and put on that list for Holden. And I'll tell you what, there's one after this. If you want to come and join us over on the Rumble, I'm going to play a little outro for here for the YouTube channel, and for if Facebook's still out there, I don't think they are. But and then we're going to go over there and we're going to have a watch party for a little holiday show, a little holiday movie that I love an awful lot. This one isn't about a ghost. It's about a Christmas angel, and it's called The Bishop's Wife. It is the original, and I think you're going to love it. And if you've never seen it, I think you're going to be glad you did, and it's going to put a lot of holiday spirit in your heart. So join us over there on Rumble. We're going to watch that tonight, and I'm going to be with you in the chat. I love you all so much. Steve, what would you like to say on our way out here, baby?
Just to say good night. Thanks for being here. People on this channel and on 13 Past Midnight.
Yes, thanks everybody.
Everybody have fun over at Rumble. I'm going to feed the baby and then go to bed. So
I don't blame you, honey. I don't blame you.
Thanks again. And next Monday will be the night before Christmas. So we'll have another Christmas show.
Right. So we've got one more time. We've got enough time. The ghost can do it all in one night, Steve.
Yep.
So I hear. All right, everybody. Listen, I love you, love you, love you. See you over there on Rumble. If I hit the right buttons, if you see me over there, you'll know I hit the right buttons. If anything happens, I will put it up tomorrow night and watch it with you tomorrow night, because I'm having all kind of flashy stuff up here, and I don't know if one of these channels will let me down or quit on me or what. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll try to make it happen. All right, guys, I love you. Everybody be good, and we're going to dance our way out, and then we'll start the Bishop's Wife over on Rumble. See you there. Love you all. Thanks
Good night, everybody.
And I hope you get to watch some of these shows. Please watch it with a friend or a family member, or just by yourself. Eat the cookies. Have some, wonderful. Treat yourself nice too. Don't forget about treating yourself good. Eat the good cookies. Right, Steve? All right. I love y'all. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Friends.